verse explained. One should honor a devotee in his mind. He's chanting the holy name. Should bow down to the one who received the Diksha. Engaged in deity worship. And should associate. Associate with and faithfully serve a pure devotee. He's free of the tendency to criticize others. He's advanced in genuine devotion service to Krishna. You can explain more of these how shall we discriminate between these levels of devotee?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Because we spoke a little bit about the heart, and we spoke about the head also, and the importance of the head. Also, one function of the head, if you will, is discrimination. Buddhi. Buddhi means discrimination. So discrimination is not a bad word. I mean, you can discriminate in a bad way in the world. You know? It can be racist and all this, but you can also discriminate in the sense of discerning. This is called vivek or vichar, and that's necessary at some point. Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu describes the three types of devotees, which are also described in this verse that you quote. And he mentions that one of the attributes of the neophyte devotee is that he doesn't discriminate too much. The intermediate devotee, he discriminates in a proper way. And the highest devotee does not discriminate at all, again. But from a different point than the neophyte devotee. The neophyte devotee maybe is not discriminating from a sentimental point of view, and the highest devotee is not discriminating because he's seeing everyone is engaged in Krishna service and has this whole vision. So ideally, we should, if we want to become Uttamadikar, Uttam Bhakta, the highest devotee, first we should try to become intermediate devotee. And that means learning about the importance of proper discrimination. And why is this important? Because someone may say, why to discriminate between devotees? All are devotees. Yeah. I mean, if we speak about the circle of devotees, all are devotees. Yeah, we agree. But there are degrees in their devotion. And we don't want to discriminate just to say, this is high, this is low, not from that side. But in order to serve them better, best, in the best possible way. If I serve a Kanishta Adhikari as if he was an Uttama Adhikari, that won't be good for him, because he won't be able to deal with that level of service properly. And vice versa, of course. Because love is specific. No? I mean, a mother loves his child in a particular way, but he loves her husband in a particular way, and her mother in a particular way. Yeah, she loves all of them, but different ways. There is discrimination. She's not going to her baby as if he's her husband. No? Some discrimination has to be there. So in the same way, in this society of devotees, one should also learn how to properly identify different Vaishnavas. So I may serve all of them in the best possible way. That's the intention. So an initial neophyte devotee, it's not bad to be a neophyte devotee. I mean, you are already devotee, that's glorious. So I'm not saying neophyte like in a derogatory way, but we shouldn't remain there forever as well. So again, a neophyte is not so much feeling the necessity of discrimination, but we feel Rupa Goswami and other Acharya are speaking to us. That's there. Discrimination is there. So it's important to understand different degrees of devotion, because if not, you do not. Your practice still is not specific. It's very general. So in the beginning of our practice, we will be general, abstract, if you will. And gradually everything has to become much more and more specific. Naturally, not in a forced way. Like as I said the other day in Bulgaria. In the beginning we may arrive to Krishna consciousness being atheist, for example. Doesn't exist. After that we learn, or we feel, okay, God exists. And the goal of life is to love God. Okay. But that's too abstract yet. Which type of love for which aspect of God? Okay. Okay, love Prem Bhakti for Krishna. Okay, we are getting somewhere. So, but which type of Prem Bhakti for which type of Krishna? Because you have Krishna. First you have to reach Krishna. Someone may say, there are so many aspects of God, Vishnu, Bhagavan, Narasimha, Ram. Okay, Krishna. Okay, Krishna. Krishna Dwarka, Krishna Mathura, Krishna Vrindavan. You have to become specific. You may say, okay, Braja Krishna, Krishna Vrindavan. Okay. So I want Braja Prem, the love of the Brajavasis. Okay, which type of Braja Prem? So someone may say, I don't know, this is classical Sampradaya, Madhurya Bhava, Madhurya Seva. No? Conjugal love for Krishna Vrindavan. Okay, but that's still generic. Which type of Madhurya Bhava? You want Parakiya, you want Swakiya. You have options. I say, okay, Parakiya. Okay. Lover, not married, relation, lover with Krishna. Okay, which type of Parakiya? Rupa Goswami will ask you that if you say that to him. Tad bhavichatmika sambhavichamai. Do you want to experience direct love relationship with Krishna, or serving Srimati Radharani, who is experiencing the direct relationship? So you may say, okay, serving Sri Radha Dasyan. Okay, which type of Radha Dasyan? Through the guidance of which Mandir? So finally you may get some irreducible point of serving under the guidance of Rupa. I'm giving an example to show you how specific the things can become, from saying love for God and of course, so many things in the middle, and we shouldn't rush in that direction. And this also applies to the relation with the devotees. We say we should serve Vaishnavas, honor Vaishnavas. Yes, but which type of service, which type of honor, which type of love for which type of Vaishnava? We should become our feelings more specific, so we can render a better service to the other person. So, in this verse, Rupa Goswami speaks about that, how to reciprocate with the three levels of devotee, Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama. So, sometimes there is a for example given, no? But basically, yes, he's saying to the Mahaprabhu says something similar also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says the person who once said Krishna already considered a devotee. Wow. Very generous. Mahaprabhu is very generous. He said Krishna, okay, he enters into the category of Kanishta Bhakta. Wow. The one who is always chanting on a daily basis with certain steadiness, Kirtaniya Sarahari, Madhyam Bhakta. Mahaprabhu said later, the one whose only presence make others chant immediately, he doesn't need to even open the mouth. His only presence creates kirtan. He's living in kirtan. Wherever he goes, whatever he or she does, creates kirtan. So yes, we should learn how to properly serve different personalities. With high, topmost devotees, we should really serve them as superiors and surrender our life. We should also know how to deal with devotees who are in the same situation as ourselves. All this is implied in the verse. Equals. And there are some newcomers who are, I don't want to say inferior, but who are new and who deserve our like parental affection, like taking care of them, guiding them. Eventually they may prove to be higher than us, but the point is we are serving them. The three stages are serving them. How do I serve the superlative devotee? How do I serve the equal? It's not because it's equal and I'm friend with him or her, I'm not serving. I'm serving that person through friendship. And to the newcomer, I will show a particular form of service. And there is one fourth extra consideration that sometimes says the envious person. Envious person. How to serve the envious person. Now we are outside the three types of devotee. Vivana Chakravarti Thakur said, you should take some distance from the envious person. That's the best thing you can do for serving that person. Because envy is such an ugly thing that if you get close to that person, immediately the poison starts to appear. So you cannot do anything to that. So the best thing you can do is take a distance. That speaks about how unbecoming envy is. So, so we should learn how to relate with the different devotees. Superlative devotees, we offer special veneration and worship and a specific type of mood. With my Gurudev, or with our Gurudevs, Diksha Guru, Siksha Gurudevs, we will relate to them in a very special mood. There will be some reverence there. Of course, not so much reverence that it creates such a distance. Affection has to be there, but not ordinary affection. Affection couched in reverence, if you will. Vishrambena Guru Seva, says Rupa Goswami. Disciples should develop some affection for the Guru, but affection in the context of service and surrender. Once Srila Bhakti Vichar Vishnu Maharaj gave the example. He said, first 5 years, the father and the son, he said, he made the parallel with Guru and disciples. First 5 years, the father gives everything to the son. No obstacles, no denials. Son wants something, you have, whatever you want, here you have. From 5 to 10, or from 6 to 10, father starts like to, no, that no. And the child, no. Starts to like educate, like to. So if those two stages were properly experienced, after that, the relationship between father and son will be like friendship relationship. Still they are father and son, but there's some sort of friendly feeling between them. So ideally that should happen eventually with one's Guru also. In the beginning, Guru there may say yes to everything. and we after that he will start like to enter more into our lives, correct, not like that's mercy also. I thought mercy was only the caressing, the embrace, the smile, the nice class and kirtan, but now, oh my God, I'm starting to experience a new dimension of mercy. But the devotees are saying to me, that's the highest mercy. Silasya Maharaj once said that, no? Says, the chastisement that comes from the upper regions, that's not something ordinary. And once he said, oh, Gurudev has chastised me, it means he considers me his property. Oh, I'm saved. If Gurudev considers me his property, I'm saved. I'm his property. And for you to chastise someone, you have to consider that person your property. There has to be some confidence. You won't start to chastise anyone there. So, so there should be some nice relationship. And with equals, the relationship is different, no? It's very difficult, the relationship with equals, in one sense, because, for example, there was really a very nice article about envy between devotees. And the author said that generally our envy expresses with devotees, if we have envy, it will mainly express with equals. With someone who is very high, you will be like admiring and glorifying Jai Gurudev. And with someone who is very new, you won't be envious of that person because you are already, no? You think yourself, oh, I am somewhere. He's just coming, and I will help him. I will be merciful, but I don't have anything to be envious from him. But with equals, oh, that's a problem. There, all that thing may start to appear, no? Sometimes all that, like manifesting in community dynamics and relationships and all these things. But that's part of what we have to go through, of course, because we are preparing, projecting ourselves to the eternal community of Golok Vrindavan. That's the only perfect community. Don't expect any perfect community in this world. Try to perfect the community, but do not get discouraged if there are still some elements in the devotional community in this world, because there's no perfect devotional community in the material world. That's Golok Vrindavan. So here we are trying to exercise our community muscles, biceps, so we may be able to enter into the perfect community. Once one devotee asked Guru Maharaj, said, Gurudev, why there is always some quarreling in the community, this problem, that problem? Why couldn't we have only such a perfect, why there's no possible to have a perfect harmonic community, like and Guru Maharaj said, you are so, how to say, ingenuo? Ingenuo. Ingenuo? Innocent. Huh? Like, yeah, naive, innocent, yeah. So you are so naive, so innocent. We are not in Golok Vrindavan, he said. Like saying, those things are there for you to go through that also. I mean, there's some teaching there. Those situations are testing, are putting you into test, are showing you where you are standing now. That's what Kunti Devi showed. The standard of Kunti Devi is, send me more tests, basically. We may say problems, but I will translate that she was asking for tests, so she could have her devotion being tested. Interesting, very brave. Pray to Krishna, send me tests so I can really see where I am standing. Because if there's no test there, it's easy. I mean, I may think of myself so many things, but when the tests come, you realize, oh, I'm here. No? So that's nice, because it's some real thing coming to you, showing you the truth. You are here, like it or not, you are there. So from there, continue making progress. But you need to know where you are in order to project a new stage in your progress. So we should be willing to be open to pray in that direction. And Krishna showed me, send me the necessary tests, the necessary problems, the necessary relationships, circumstances that will show me where I am standing now and where should I be standing tomorrow, basically. I pray for that. I'm willing to that. Hopefully our prayer goes in that direction. And of course sometimes Krishna replies and we realize, oh, I was not up to the answer. And I like escape from Krishna's reply to my prayer. But Krishna is, as a merciful Father, okay, not ready yet for that. But gradually he hopes that we may be ready for that. So gradually we will understand. So it should be very important to learn how to properly relate between the devotees. That's a whole art. That's a whole. Once Gurudeva Tulananda said we should graduate, you say in English, graduate, when you obtain graduation, when you obtain PhD, whatever, you got a degree. No? We should obtain the degree of being able to speak from Vaishnava to Vaishnava. That's a whole degree. Because sometimes we speak from whatever other thing to Vaishnava. But in order to have Vaishnava to Vaishnava conversation, we should rise to the platform of Vaishnavism. We are in a very nice place here that so much sponsors Visva Vaishnava Raksava, the concept of World Vaishnava Association. And as we speak all with devotees, we should also learn to apply those ideas of unity and diversity and appreciation and flexibility in our mind, starting by ourselves, in our own temple, in our own community. That's part of the project of Visva Vaishnava Raksava. Every single community is very important to express that. So, yeah, that's the all in all, no? Sadhu Sangha. Once Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj was asked that when he was, that was his 100th Vyasa Puja. He lived for 102 years. So he was a devotee from his very birth. More, of course. You can imagine 100 years of devotion. So someone asked the question, no, on the birthday, what's the most important thing you learned in this century of devotion? Try to imagine the question. To someone like Srila Puri Maharaj, no? In one century, the most important thing you learned, everyone was with their recorded leg, wanting to catch them. He answered in a very simple way, but very essential way. No? Coming from him, if he says so, we should be really willing to go deep into that answer. So he said, the most important thing I learned in these 100 years of practice is that without the devotees, I'm nothing. End of the answer. So it seems, oh yeah, no, there's so much there. He could have said so many things, but he chose to say that one. There must be something very important to consider over and over again, at least for 100 years. We should consider that till we reach that conclusion ourselves. Without the devotees, that means without properly relating myself with the devotees, because of course it's not only without the devotees, but I don't know how to relate with themselves. Without proper sadhu sangha, without that I'm nothing. In other words, I may have the sadhus there, but if I don't know how to relate with them, I'm nothing. The Uttam Bhagavad Paramahamsa, whatever, all the titles you want, can be here in front of your face, but if you don't know how to relate properly there, you may be still nothing. So the point is there. Sometimes we may ask, where are the devotees? Or some people ask me, Swami, where is my guru? How can I know who is my guru? Who is my guru? I will ask them, first ask yourself, where is the disciple? Because you have to do your part also. If you is the disciple there in yours, in yourself? No? Because when you are ready as a disciple, immediately you will find your guru. Your guru may be here, but if the disciple is not there, you will still keep asking, where's my guru? Where's my guru? Where's my guru? And the guru is asking, where's the disciple? Where's the disciple? We are looking for a real guru, but gurus are looking for real disciples. Look, real gurus are not looking for followers, for money, for fame. They are looking for real disciples, people whom they can really invest what they have in their heart to those sincere souls, so they may continue with this transaction. That was the idea. But Sukadeva Goswami went out of the womb of his mother and went running directly to the forest. He didn't want to know anything about this world. And Vyasadeva ran after him, calling, son, return. Sometimes I heard devotees saying, oh, Vyasadeva was attached to his son and he ran. But how come Vyasadeva can be attached to his son? So actually the explanation is he was running behind Sukadev because he knew he's a proper disciple, that I can share with him all the wealth I have in my heart. So I need someone like him in order to continue this. He was able to bring Sukadev Goswami back. He sent some woodcutter to the forest, say, sing this verse of the Bhagavad, this verse of the Bhagavad. With this, I'm sure you will catch Sukadev's attention. Sukadev returned like hypnotized, hearing the verse of the Bhagavad till Vyasadev's ashram. And there he learned Bhagavad from his father. So, gurus are looking for real disciples. Once someone asked Guru Maharaj also, what's the service what service I can do to please you the most? I can do, or any disciple, it was not a personal question, but what service any disciple can do to please you the most? So here answer, become a pure devotee. That's the answer. That's the service. Of course, we do so many other things, and ideally in order, so that helps us to advance in that direction. But that's what pleases the Guru the most. Once one devotee also asked Srila Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, please give me one service. And the devotee was expecting that maybe Srila Maharaj will say, go and cook something, or clean the bathroom, or broom, pass the broom, sound like menial service. But he was asking to Srila Bhakti-Rakshak Goswami Maharaj. So he said, Guru Maharaj, can you give me one service? Some service? And he answered, change your angle of vision. That was the answer. He has seva for the rest of eternity with that. So, if you change your angle of vision, you will realize, oh, everything is a service opportunity. So in this way, no, we should gradually try to qualify ourselves more and more as disciples, God brothers, gurus. At one point, everything is synonym. The best disciple will be guru naturally, even though he's giving or not initiation. It doesn't have to do with giving officially something. It's a guru, an acharya, someone who teaches with example. So, if someone is really exemplary, that person will be preaching even without speaking. We find that example in our Sampradaya. How did Mahaprabhu converted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the greatest logician of all India? Imagine. In India there are many great everything. The greatest logician in India was converted by Mahaprabhu. Which was the strategy of Mahaprabhu? That he sat in front of Sarvabhauma for a week. He didn't say one single word, in silence. But his example was so powerful that he didn't need to say anything. His only presence was the preaching, basically. He sat, he listened to Sarvabhauma, but something very powerful was emanating from him in silence. After 7 days, the greatest logician of India was like totally like, what's going on here? And after that, Mahaprabhu said 2-3 things, and Sarvabhauma was jumping and dancing ecstatic in kirtan, totally converted. So Mahaprabhu is Krishna in his Acharya Leela. No? Krishna as an Acharya, showing with example. In Vrindavan, of course he's given example, but not so easily understood. No? Lying, stealing, being a playboy. But of course, properly understood, that's also Acharya. But we need to go through Mahaprabhu to properly understand Krishna. So in the same way, no? Achar means behavior, and prachar means preaching. Interesting, you know? But try to follow the idea. Prachar means preaching, but the word prachar includes achar. Achar means behavior, conduct. And pra-achar. Pra means a very special type of. Achar means behavior. So a very special type of behavior means preaching. That's the meaning of the word, actually. In other words, that's the main thing, preaching. Give a proper example, and sometimes you speak something. Saint Francis saying that once. He said, you have to always maintain yourself preaching the gospel, and when necessary, use some words. Like implying, main preaching will be your own practice and example. That will speak for itself. And sometimes some words here and there. In my case, I speak so much because I don't have too much example and conduct to give, so much blah 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 for myself. Some Prabhupada will be there, I would just sit and what to do. Okay. I don't know if we are on time. One last question for finishing, if there is some. If there is time, I don't know the timings here.
I can have a short one.
The question may be short, the answer I cannot assure you.
A few times I have heard that we should consider ourselves to be rather on some kind of pre-Kanishta level than the actual Kanishta, something like that is even under the Kanishta. But I haven't find anything like that in Shastras, and I don't know if it is not some kind of over humble statement or if it
is. What sometimes has been said I never find anything like that also, like pre-Kanishta or whatever. But what sometimes it has been described, mainly what one disciple of Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta is like gradations between these three types of devotees. Because of course we say Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam, but it's not like today I'm Kanishta and tomorrow I became Madhyam. No, I mean it's a very like gradual process. Again, not black and white. No? Between black and white, they say there are 256 varieties of gray. No? So sometimes this is described like Kanishta, some general three divisions. Kanishta, Kanishta, Kanishta Madhyam, and Kanishta Uttam. No? Neophyte, Neophyte, intermediate Neophyte, superlative Neophyte. And like this is the same. Madhyam, Kanishta, Madhyam, 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 Uttam, Uttam, Kanishta, Uttam, Madhyam, Uttam, Uttam. But this like pre-Kanishta and all this stuff, I've never heard. But, I mean, if someone wants to explain some point using that term, I don't have a problem if that's properly presented. But pre-Kanishta will mean before meeting the devotees, basically, before saying Hare Krishna. As Mahaprabhu said, he said once Kanishta. No? Conditioned soul, pre-Kanishta, the previous stage before entering into the first neophyte official. No? And being a Kanishta, again, being a Kanishta is a glorious thing. I mean, it's not a cheap thing. You already had some adhikar from Bhakti. Kanishta adhikar. And as I said the other day, a Kanishta may be a little bit sentimental, may not have too much knowledge of scripture, may not be discriminating too much, but maybe really sincere, well situated, little naive, but honest. So if that person has proper guidance, eventually will become Madhyam, Uttam, etc. But if that Kanishta is not open to progress and change, when the opportunity presents itself for changing, and that Kanishta rejects the opportunity and sometimes even attacks that in a neophyte, sentimental way, that person can even stop being Kanishta and commit Vaishnava Parad. So there is a risk, a bigger risk for Vaishnava Parad in the Kanishta stage than the higher stages, as you can imagine. And if you commit heavy Vaishnava Parad, you can even stop being a Kanishta Adhikari, because Bhakti can be uprooted because of aparad. So that's the only delicate point of being a Kanishta. It's a glorious thing if you are honest, sincere, and have proper guidance. One example, no? One Kanishta devotee may hear a Madhyam Bhakta, a Madhyam devotee, who is giving a more, let's say, progressive discourse, no? Some ideas more substantial, or speaking about his guru in a more substantial way. And for Kanishta, that's like, it's a confusion. He can't understand, and he thinks that's wrong. No? And he has two options there. Thinking he's wrong, he's offending Gurudev, and actually he will be offending that devotee, or going to his Gurudev or to whoever is guiding him and saying, that devotee said this, and I feel he's offensive because he said this, and my guide will say, no, he's not offensive, he's actually more advanced than you, and he's saying something that you cannot digest now. So by the moment, take some healthy distance from that topics because you get confused. Focus in your present, but appreciate that and understand that that's the next stage to attain. If that guidance has to be there, because if not, the Kanishta has the risk of misunderstanding higher discourses and offending them. That happened with, I don't know, many cases. Srila Siddha Maharaj, many disciples of Prabhupada were with Srila Siddha Maharaj, and they were expecting Srila Siddha Maharaj to repeat what Prabhupada said. But what's the meaning of him saying the exact same thing of Prabhupada? He had to say something new. And they heard something new. Some appreciated that, but some thought he's not saying what Prabhupada said. And from different perspectives. Some may say, okay, he's not a bad guy, but he says something different, so in order not to be confused, let's take distance from him and let's stick with what Prabhupada said. But maybe they did not offend, but some others really offend. Say, no, he goes against Prabhupada, but actually he was saying what Prabhupada would say to them if he would remain alive, in one sense. But they were not able to appreciate. Because we may say Prabhupada said, but we may also say what Prabhupada should be saying now. Because the discourse is evolving, it's dynamic, it's not always the same. Of course, the soul is always the soul, Krishna is always the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But how you say that new realization that comes from that's constant movement. No? So, but again, still being a Kanishta is a great thing. No? So we should appreciate that. No? There's one short story that, if you allow, I can share about that. With Srila Bhakti Pramadvaiti Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Rakshakshya Dev Goswami. Maybe you know it, very nice. Once Srila Puri Maharaj sent his disciples to hear from Srila Siddha Maharaj. Srila Puri Maharaj was already quite old, he was not able to go himself, but he wanted to go. For him, Srila Siddha Maharaj was his Siksha Guru, the immediate representative of his own Gurudev, especially in that famous moment when Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta asked Srila Siddha Maharaj sing Sri Rupa Manjari Pad, but someone makes Srila Puri Maharaj sing. And Prabhupada said, no, I don't want to hear a sweet voice, I want to hear Srila Siddha Maharaj. You can imagine the situation. Try to put you in the position of Srila Puri Maharaj. Your guru is leaving the body. No? He asks someone to sing, but someone else makes you sing, and you are singing, and you may feel, I'm singing for my guru in his last moment, and your guru stops you and say, no, he will sing. In some cases you may feel, oh no. And the other person, if you are not properly situated, may become my enemy. He was the one who sang, I wanted to sing. But in the case of these higher sadhus, that never happened. And at that moment, for Srila Puri Maharaj, when Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta said, Srila Maharaj sings, Srila Puri Maharaj said, immediately accept Srila Maharaj as my immediate Siksha Guru after my Guru. So he sent his disciples to him, and Srila Maharaj was speaking about the three types of Vaishnavas, no? Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam, in his very dynamic language. I mean, if you don't know Srila Maharaj, you may really misunderstand many parts of his discourse, because he speaks in a very particular way that you have to be prepared to follow his ideas. So he was speaking about the three types of devotees and the typical services that that devotees perform. We say Kanishtadikar is mainly connected to deity worship. Bhagavatam says that. With this, we are not saying deity worshiping is for Kanishta, but means the Kanishta generally conceives Krishna and me, and nobody else. He's not able to to relate properly with the devotees, like this. In that sense, deity worship. Madhyam, he said, like following very strictly his guru's order, establishing everything properly, preaching in a very proper way. And he said Uttam means someone that can take the process and make the necessary adjustments with a big genius mind and adjusting everything. So he gave examples of his God brothers in those categories. But he was not saying my God brothers are in that level, but their main activities were connected to the activities that characterize those types of devotees. So he said, Kanishta Adhikar Srila Puri Maharaj, Madhyam Adhikar Bhaktivedanta Madhava Maharaj, Uttam Adhikar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. So he was not saying Puri Maharaj is a Kanishta Adhikar. He was saying Puri Maharaj, all his life, great part of his life, he was engaged in deity worship. So deity worship is one activity that, done with certain mentality, is characterized as Kanishta Bhakti. But he didn't explain all that in detail. He only said Kanishta Puri Maharaj, Madhyam Madhava Maharaj, Uttam Swami Maharaj, and he continued speaking. So you can imagine there were disciples of Puri Maharaj in the class, because Puri Maharaj sent them to the class. Here, Siddha Maharaj, and tell me what you heard. So they were hearing from Siddha Maharaj. Your Gurudev is they interpret that. Puri Maharaj Kanishta Adhikar. So you can imagine, they didn't hear any other thing after that in the class. They were just. So they returned, no? And Srila Puri Maharaj was like waiting for the news. Share the Harikatha of Srila Maharaj. No? And all the disciples were like. And he asked, what happened? Why you have that face? No? And they say, and you realize the misunderstanding. They say to Srila Maharaj, no, the point is that Puri Maharaj said that you are a Kanishta Adhikar. So they interpreted like that. Srila Maharaj never said that. But they projected their own misunderstanding into someone like Guru. So they say to Srila Puri Maharaj, Srila Maharaj said that you are a Kanishta Bhakta. So what will be the reaction? If we hear that, what will happen? No? Maybe. Who dares to say that I'm a Kanishta Bhakta? He's insulting me, whatever. But Puri Maharaj, he heard that. He was already 100 years old. No? He took his two hands and like trembling over his head and said, "Oh, someone like Sridhar Maharaj considers that I have some adhikar for bhakti." That's Srila Maharaj. He started glorifying Srila Maharaj. He started redoing. Okay, he's someone who reacts like that is an Uttam Bhakta. Because Puri Maharaj considered I don't have even Kanishta, adhikar for being a Kanishta. Not even that. I'm pre-Kanishta. And he started glorifying the person who apparently insulted him. That natural, but that was so natural in him that actually that proved he's the topmost type of Vaishnava, superlative Uttam Mahabhakta. But with that he was showing, Kanishta Bhakta, some adhikar for bhakti, that's so glorious. So he started like. So we, even if we are in that stage now, I don't know, whatever, we should be feeling fortunate for that. Not like, or if someone else is that. Of course, that's not all, but if we want to get to the remaining stages, first we should properly appreciate the stage we are in now, with all the ordinary stuff that is already is still there. But be grateful for that, and from there try to humbly make progress to the day after day after day. And if you feel like making some progress, because you may feel that, you can feel that only one way, by Sri Guru's grace and making some progress. It's humility to recognize that, but in a very genuine way. I'm advancing, but it's not me. It's Gurudev's grace. That's a higher humility. Sometimes I give in the class and I'm saying things that I realize, what I say, what's interesting. Interesting words, but immediately I feel, but it was not me. I mean, it was not in my plan to say that, and after that I will say that. So it's not me being speaking that specific thing. If some stupid thing is said, that's me. I take the credit for that. But if something interesting happens, me myself, I become like a witness of what's like happening there. So it's not that I am capable, especially capable. It's just the grace of Sri Guru Mahaprabhu is so powerful that, as you know, it can make the blind see and the lame walk, and someone who cannot speak sing beautiful poetry. So, but all that is the grace. Sri Guru and his graces, that's who present. Well, some ideas we wanted to share today regarding the questions. So thank you very much for your time, your presence. Shri Gurudev Patita Pavan ki jai, Shri Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Sri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Shri Ekadasi ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Binda ki jai, Gaur Pramanabha.
Hari Hari Bo.